new poll by YouGov has predicted Kamala Harris will win the US presidential election. The survey of more than 95,000 Americans has found the Democratic candidate will easily win the popular vote for president, 50 to 47%. But the Electoral College vote, which determines the result, is projected to be extremely close, 292 to 246 in favour of Kamala Harris. And to break these figures down, I'm joined by Paul Smith, who is Director of Public Data at YouGov. Paul, thank you very much for joining me. What are some of the key findings of this survey?
Well, firstly, it's actually, as you said, Kamala Harris will win the popular vote just like Joe Biden did last time. But what we're seeing is projection in the Electoral College, which is actually closer than the last election. And in fact, states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and North Carolina, which we're projecting is going very narrowly to Kamala Harris, are within 1 or 2%. And also, President Trump is looking at edging ahead in Arizona and Georgia, which the Democrats won last time, but again, they're within the margin of error. So we're looking at a very close election.
And what did it tell us about which groups were favouring each candidate?
One of the things that's very interesting about this election, and if you look at a state like Pennsylvania, is that working class voters who've historically supported the Democrats have changed over recent years. So we will see that in a town like Reading, in Berks, in Pennsylvania, which have traditionally voted for Roosevelt, and it's a very industrial town, it's a little bit like Wollongong, supported President Trump last time and will probably support him again this time. But a place like Chester, which is a very affluent area outside Philadelphia, it's kind of like the North Shore of Sydney. Kamala Harris is looking for her majority out of votes in a place like that, which before a few years ago hadn't voted Democrat only once in 100 years. So we're looking at demographic shifts, but also we're looking at strong support from urban voters, black voters, Latino voters for Kamala Harris. And this election is about who turns up to vote, because it's going to be very close and it's all going to be about turnout.
And can you tell me a bit about the survey itself? Because it's a very large survey. Can you explain the methodology and who was surveyed? So
firstly, what we've done is differently this time. We've done it with Stanford University and Yale and Arizona State, is that we have surveyed 100,000 people over a year. So we're following the same people. And secondly, what we've done is we've got a lot of demographic data which we project over each different local area. There's census details, and it's a model. It's not just a survey. So that's what it's called, an MRP. And that's what it shows is it's a much more sophisticated thing than has been done in recent years. It's not just a poll of 1,000 people. This is a massive model which projects a whole range of things, including projected turnout. But that's why turnout's the real thing here. If people turn out less than we expect or more than we expect, that's why there's margin of error. 100,000 people we've surveyed gives us a pretty precise idea of what people intend to do, but whether they turn up, we will see.
What did you find on turnout?
Well, turnout has got two things: what people tell you and what people might do. I think that Kamala Harris's team will have an edge in turnout, because from the last 2022 elections, the midterms, the people they're targeting turned up at a higher amount. That's why the Democrats did better in the congressional elections last time. But it's about whether people who are thinking of voting for President Trump also turn up in similar numbers. We think that Harris's team have the edge, but it's only a small edge, and I think there'll be a long time before we get the final results on Wednesday, Australian time. And
just finally, you mentioned that you're tracking these same people over a year. Did you see much of a shift in the way they were intending to vote?
Oh yes, before particularly in the period when after the first debate and President Biden's decision to step down, Trump was definitely in front, and then when Vice President Harris came in, then it was she gained ground, and after the second debate, got herself narrow but definite lead. So it has moved in the course of the year and with the course of events. But I think now people are pretty locked in their opinions, and it's all about turnout.
Very interesting to see how it goes. Thank you so much for your insights. That's Paul Smith, Director of Public Data at YouGov.